Hello, today I'll be demonstrating my app, Fix It, Fix It, Fix It. This is an application I've created for reporting issues in your local council area, things like potholes, graffiti, anything really. So today I'm going to be showing you how the application actually works and how it can be used, and at the end of the video I'm going to go over some of the technical implementation details. So let's start by just creating a new issue. By default, the startup screen has this text here, you don't have any issues, lucky you, it's a bit of a joke. The app is for reporting issues. If we click the Report New Issue button, that's going to take us into the first step of a wizard process for creating an issue. And let's do that now. So you can see the first step is to select a picture. We've got this progress indicator here, we're on step 1. It's telling us we can preview and take picture, and you'll notice it's got an asterisk. We can also just skip this, but I'm going to take a picture. Today I'm reporting that this guinea pig sitting by my desk has been found. I want to know who in the council can help me with that. So after clicking take a picture, after a lot of debugging, I managed to get the webcam working as the camera for the emulator here. You'll see I'm not using a real phone, I'm using an emulator. So I pointed at, and my guinea pig's hiding. Anyway, I'll take a picture of the cage. Once I've done that, you'll see I have the option to remove or accept that picture. I'm going to accept. It takes a little bit of time to switch between applications when you're taking pictures and also sending the email, which we'll do later. Great. Now, I'm not particularly happy with that picture. I've actually got a better one already on this phone from a test earlier. I'm going to click change, and that'll take us back in time in the wizard, back to this screen, and I'm going to choose an existing picture. Right now this is reading off my SD card, or the fake SD card that I have on this phone. And let's see if I can't find a better picture. I'm just going to use any old picture, I think. That one will do. So let's return us to the application, and this picture's a bit clearer. You can see it's just on my desk. I'm going to click next now. That'll take us to the next step in the wizard. So the next step is to choose a location. Obviously, if we have an issue, it happens somewhere. So to handle this, I've got a map view within my application. This will default to circular key in the rocks at the moment. Had some trouble getting the geolocation feature working in the emulator for some reason. But I'm going to report that this guinea pig was found near u1037920 in Queensland. This is just using the Google API for selecting locations, by the way. And let's just say I found this near u1037920 Shire Council. I could tap that. Once I've tapped that, after a short delay, it will autofill the text here. And you can see it's also put a marker in the middle of u1037920. You'll see I've got some instructions here. I can click and drag the marker to reposition it. You can also just drag this screen around, so let's do that. So say I actually think I found the guinea pig a little bit further up. Say I found it. It's a bit annoying that obstructs the screen, which isn't great for the locus of control, but let's try this anyway. Going to drag that marker up here, and you'll see there's a little animation eventually once it detects that I'm dragging that. That'll do. So that's about where I found this guinea pig. I'll go through this let's just do it. I can clear that. Once I click clear, it just resets everything. Let's type in u1037920, sorry. And that's going to pop us back in the middle of u1037920. And just going to move that one more time. I should mention as well, some cool things. The way I've implemented this is to use a web view. I won't go too much into this right now, but I can actually drag this little man. And it will give me a street view eventually. There we go. You have to wait until circle turns green. Anyway, this isn't a particularly good demonstration. I might just come back to that. You can get other views as well there if you wish. I won't go into that. I'm going to click next to proceed to the next step. At any point, by the way, you can hit the back button to return to the previous step. And at every step, I should mention, this information is getting saved. So, you know, I could exit the application now and come back to it, click on the home screen. There would be an issue already logged that I could come back to. Here, what I've done is implemented a web search using a web service that I've actually written just for this project. If you look in the README file for that I've included, you'll find some information on that. Once again, I'm going to type in Orokun. That comes straight up. Great in the suggestions, works almost the exact same way. You can also just scroll here. So say, you know what, I've got a friend at Baku Shire Council who I want to contact as well. If I tap that, you'll notice it just appears up here with a slide animation. Should probably have a clear button there, but... And what other bars do we have? I also have Barcaldine Regional Council. I'm going to add that as well. So what this is doing, this is selecting contacts that the email will be sent to. In the final step of this, which we're about to reach, we're able to send an email. I'm going to click next. And you can see it's prompting us for a title. And I'm just going to put Lost Guinea Pig. This description here, this title will end up as a subject line and will also appear on the home screen of the app. So by the subject line, I mean the subject line of the email that we're about to send. The description can handle multi-line, which I'm quite proud of, so I can put in this guinea pig was found in Orokun, need money for posters. There's two steps you can take here. If you weren't ready to send the email, you could just click finish and that would take you straight to the home screen. Or in this case, I know that I want to send that. I'm going to hit send email, and this will launch the email application that I've already got set up on this phone. If you do this for the first time and you haven't got that set up, it will prompt you to log in. I've already logged in with my Gmail. So you can see I've got two contacts here that I added, and sorry, three contacts. It's got the Barcaldine, Baku, and Orokun, which matches what we had on the contact screen. Be careful if you are using this in testing, because this will actually send email. So I'm just going to delete all three of those, and I'm going to send that to myself. The cool thing was I tested this earlier, and I actually got the email. You can see I got Lost Guinea Pig, and there's my subject line. The guinea pig was found in Orokun, need money for posters. I forgot to put in multiple lines, I'll do that next time. And it's auto-filled some information here. The location of the issue is address Orokun, Queensland, Australia, which is what we had in the address field in step 2. And we've got a latitude and longitude that is automatically put in there for using the Google map. And I've also got the image that I selected, so I thought that was quite cool. And you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and send that to myself. And you can see once that application is finished sending, it returns us straight back to the application, the fix it application. And at that point, we can click finish. And you can see I've now got Lost Guinea Pig. Great! And it's automatically recorded the date as well. One thing I should mention is you can click this at any point. So say you'd gone out of the application halfway through because you got a phone call. You could go to the home screen, come straight back in, click on that. And after a short delay, that'll have loaded. And it's got us straight back into the session. And you'll notice, because we already had a picture, it started us in the correct step. And I'm just going to demonstrate something as well. So we'll go forward. So I went to the location step. Oh, and you know what? I actually wanted to change the picture. I'll hit back, and it took us straight back. Say somebody's using this application. They say, "Gee, I really don't know what I'm doing. I need some guidance." Click click on this menu button here. They call it a hamburger menu. So I find that's pretty universal, so I don't think people should struggle with that at all. We have report new issue. We could just click that and it would start off the wizard again. In this case though, I'm going to click help. And what this is just a web view with some help information in it. I won't go through all of that, but it's also what I've included as my marketing sheet, if you've seen that. But it explains step by step how all of this works. And I'm going to click back. If I click back there, it'll take us to the menu, or I could click home at any point. And you can see you can get that same help information from the home screen there. And you know what? Just to be clever, I'm going to click on menu again, and I'm going to report a new issue. And this time I'm just going to test defaults, so I'm not going to fill in anything this time. And even slightly frustrating, it will try and load this from the start, even though I'm clicking next, but I'm not really sure of a good way to get around that because we don't know that the user is going to skip at that point. And just skipping everything. And there is a reason for all of this, by the way. And I hope that wasn't too painful. So the reason I wanted to show you that is that you'll notice up the very top here, the latest added item appears at the top, and it didn't know, we didn't give it any context, we didn't call it lost guinea pig or anything else in the subject, so it's just defaulted to today's date. But say you were on a train and you wanted to take a picture of some graffiti and report that, but you didn't really have time to report it then and there, then you could use this feature. Obviously we would have taken the picture, but you could use this feature to come back later and fill in the rest of the information. So I've just taken a picture of my keyboard there. I need to clean my desk. And after a short delay, that will pop up with a picture. And to make this square was a total pain, by the way. You'll notice that I detected the size of the image and then resized it. Anyway, that is the end of the informal demonstration part of the video. I'm going to talk about the technical side of things now. So this is the technical part of the presentation. One thing I'll show you, you can see I've got my email up here, and look, I got my email for a lost guinea pig. And if I open that up, you'll see it had the same information we saw on the preview screen. Great, everything's worked nicely. So I thought that was really cool when I got the email for the first time. Didn't have to debug that at all, it just worked. That made me really happy. The second thing I want to look at is the database schema for this application, which explains a lot about how it works. So you'll notice we've got issues which can be thought of as the session. When a new session is initialized, we get an auto-incremented ID. So when I'm working, if I select one row and then another, that's how it knows which session belongs to which information. It's just the primary key in this plain sense of the term. We've got a picture file, which is the file native path of the image that we captured or selected during step 2. Location text, when we're selecting location on the map, the text that we entered in the search field ends up here. Longitude and latitude come from step 2 as well, self-explanatory, and you can see that information there. So address, was the location text, longitude, latitude are those two fields. With the contact step, step 3, I got a little bit lazy. What happens there is when we select the items on that screen, they're getting written to a JSON object. That then gets serialized with JSON stringify and dumped directly into this text field there. And when I get it back out again, I use JSON parse to basically turn that back into a JSON object. And one particularly annoying issue that I had while I was doing this is I tried to reparse an already parsed object. What you end up with then is object. So the error that I got was could not locate for symbol O. It took me a little while to figure out why that was coming up. Anyway, the message title is the subject line and also that line that appears on the home screen for each issue. Message body is what you see here. It's the message body of the email. That only stores the first bit here. The guinea pig was found. It doesn't store the location information. That's actually normalized into these fields. Is test, you don't have to worry about that, but that was a test flag that I used while I was developing the application. And date added on the application home screen. We basically had some automatically populated dates, as I'll show you in a moment. So those dates there are being automatically generated with a default current timestamp and then stored in the database. And that doesn't get updated when you are editing the row, it's just when it's initialized. Anyway, when we're working with the db.js file, which I've referenced as DAL throughout the project, I won't show you that because it's too many to show, but I'm populating this entity similar to what we did in the workshops, and it's just setting to null default since we don't always populate these values. And I'll show you an example of the usage on the home screen. So on the home screen, when we populate the data rows, this is the event handler method that gets called, issues menu click handler. And you'll notice that it's getting the session data from the row that I stored when I was creating the table. And if we were to click that row, it would open up picture preview. If we're opening the picture preview step, sorry, let me explain that. That is, if you already had a picture file, it will open it in the picture preview step. Otherwise, it goes to the photo step, which was the one where it tells us to either choose or take a new photograph. So it's a small difference there. And if we go to photo step, for example, the second option here, you'll notice that we have debug session info win.sessionfi. So what that's saying is we passed a session.fi object into this window when we initialized it here, and I'm then able to read all of that information out as I'm going, which is extremely helpful, and was how I was able to persist the session throughout the wizard steps. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I'll give you one last demonstration of the web API that I've created. So as I mentioned, the contacts is done as a web view within the application, and if I start typing oru kun, you'll notice that I'm getting some XHTTP requests down here, and you'll notice it's going to this domain that I've set up, and if I copy that URL out and run it, you'll see that that's just a web service returning some JSON. So this is a web service that I created using Microsoft's Web API. Excuse me a moment. That's just the default landing screen, which I haven't bothered to customize. But if you click on API, you'll get some help for the methods that are available through the JSON API. So for example, I can see that the postcode is 4871. If we look at the documentation here, we can see it accepts an ID. That ID is in fact for the postcode. So if I just replace that query aruk, with 4871, and we'll get everything that had a 4871 postcode, which happens to be a couple of locations in Queensland. By the way, if you are using this, I only managed to get Queensland council data, and if you were to run that without any parameters, that just gives you everything that I have in my database, which is how I'm populating the list in the first place. So that's that list that you see at the very start there. That concludes my technical demonstration. I hope you found it informative, and I look forward to any questions you might have. Thank you for watching.